Welcome back to TNLP, the newsletter podcast brought to you by the HazMat Guys. I'm your host, Timmy, back with this week's HazMat News. We'll start this week with a bonus story you'll only hear exclusively on the newsletter podcast. Spectrum News 1 shares that Monroe County in upstate New York is focusing on a potential fire hazard that is likely in every home in America during this year's National Fire Prevention Week. County leaders are also announcing an investment designed to better fight particularly dangerous fires. Lithium-ion batteries can be found almost everywhere. They're in our phones, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, and dozens of other devices that people use every day. They can pose a serious fire risk when handled improperly. The U.S. Product Safety Commission reports there have been more than 25,000 incidents of fire or overheating involving lithium-ion batteries in the past 6 years. The Monroe County Fire Bureau says that trend is mirrored locally, and it's on the rise. Lithium-ion battery fires burn fast, release toxic chemicals, and can be explosive, making them especially dangerous. However, they are preventable. Monroe County residents can bring unused or damaged lithium-ion batteries to the Monroe County Eco Park on Avion Drive to be safely disposed of before they can cause a fire in a home. Monroe County Executive Adam Bello says there is no appointment needed and no need to even remove the battery from the device. Since we started this disposal program back in 2023, we have collected 3.5 tons of lithium-ion and lithium-based batteries for proper, responsible disposal. That's the equivalent of 7,000 pounds of potentially dangerous materials that are not in our landfills or in our homes, said Bello. Even with proper disposal and prevention, lithium-ion fires will still happen, and they require a specialized response due to the volatile nature of the batteries. These fires are fast, they're toxic, and they don't necessarily even operate like every other fire, said Bello. These are very bad, dangerous situations. So it takes specialized equipment to make sure that we're fighting them in a safe way. Bello says the county has invested $1.3 million in a special HazMat response vehicle that is specifically designed to tackle the kinds of fires that are caused by lithium-ion batteries. This week, Monroe County residents are encouraged to collect devices containing lithium-ion batteries that they wish to dispose of and bring them to the Eco Park. The facility is open Wednesdays from 1 to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 7:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Kudos to Monroe County for their proactive preparedness tactics. Make sure your team is up to speed on the latest lithium-ion battery response techniques with the top training in the industry. Learn more now at thehazmatguys.com/training for more. Heading to the St. Louis area, a HazMat team was on the scene of a train derailment Friday in St. Louis County, and authorities called for a temporary cautionary evacuation after a train derailment. A HazMat team was on the scene of a train derailment Friday in St. Louis County. Didn't look like anything you see on TV, looked like it was in slow motion, and it happened so fast before I knew that it was over, said Joe Nardoni. Nardoni was heading home and waiting a few minutes for a Burlington Northern Santa Fe train to pass when, all of a sudden, some of the cars got wobbly. Gravel was in the air, wires were in the air. Very scary, said Nardoni. At one point, he even feared for his safety. Thought the car was going to come and hit my car and crash into my car, but it didn't. Nothing hit my car, said Nardoni. Lieutenant Jason Bryce, Public Information Officer for the LeMay Fire Protection District, said a BNSF train derailed Friday afternoon near the intersection of New Hampshire and Weber Roads in South St. Louis County. Some of the train cars previously held chemicals, including sodium hydroxide solution and hydrogen peroxide. There were no leaks, said Bryce. Bryce said the tanks were empty, but before confirming that, crews deployed drones and HazMat teams to investigate. A precautionary evacuation for 15 to 20 nearby homes was ordered, but has since been lifted. It's unique. It's one of those low-frequency, high-risk events that we always train for, said Bryce. Bryce said nobody was injured in the incident, nor was any personal property damaged, though some BNSF property was. The derailment caused a stir in the normally quiet Afton neighborhood. All of a sudden you hear crash, boom, bang for like 10 seconds, said Tristan Ox. Aches and Andrew Palmisano were playing basketball when they heard the crash. They got closer and saw the wreck up close. Train's just mauled, the metal's just all flexed around the wheels, some of the wheels fell off. The concrete around it is just obliterated, said Palmisano. Some roads will remain closed during cleanup. BNSF said in a statement that crews are working to clear the incident as quickly as possible. We'll keep on top of this one. Should we get any more details on the spill? Next, we head to Blair County, Pennsylvania, where a truck driver was taken to an area hospital Friday afternoon after multiple fire crews and first responders were sent to a tanker truck rollover that caused a hazardous fuel leak. The Bald Eagle Volunteer Fire Company and other fire departments were dispatched to South Eagle Valley Road at 12:29 p.m. for a vehicle accident involving a tanker truck that rolled over and was leaking fuel. A fire captain who arrived first at the scene found that the driver was confined inside the truck. A firefighter from Hookie's Fire Company and Good Samaritans at the scene were able to help the driver get out of the overturned truck and down to the ground using a ladder. The driver then received care from EMS personnel before being taken to UPMC Altoona for treatment. Bald Eagle Volunteer Fire Company noted the driver was rescued only 5 minutes after the dispatch was received. Fire crews then worked to stop the fuel leak by using rescue struts, putty, rags, electrical tape, and zip ties before HazMat crews from the Altoona Fire Department arrived. According to the Bald Eagle Volunteer Fire Company, a dam was constructed in a ditch to contain any fuel runoff. As of 3:30 p.m. Friday, emergency crews were still at the scene waiting for a tanker truck to offload remaining fuel from the overturned truck and a wrecker to remove the vehicle. The road is still shut down at the Backvale Road and South Eagle Valley Road intersection and the intersection at Shorb Street and South Eagle Valley Road. Drivers are asked to avoid this area until the scene is cleared. Hookie's Fire Company, Neptune Fire Company, Excelsior Fire Department 1, Altoona Fire Department, AMED, and State Police all assisted in the incident. We conclude this week with a story out of Florida, where Tampa fire rescue crews responded to a structure fire call Monday morning that turned into a hazmat situation. According to Tampa fire officials, the call on the 4,000 block of South Covina Circle was initially reported as a structure fire due to a large amount of smoke in the area. After arriving and evaluating the scene, crews determined that it was a hazardous materials situation, with fumes coming from the structure. Authorities said that a person in the home had mixed multiple caustic chemicals, which caused a chemical reaction that led to a small explosion and damage to the roof of the single-story house. Tampa Fire Rescue's Hazardous Materials team, along with the Tampa Police Department's bomb squad, had responded to the scene. Out of an abundance of caution, nearby homes were temporarily evacuated, while crews worked to secure the area and residents were able to safely return around 1 p.m. No injuries were reported, officials said, and 2 people requested medical evaluations out of precaution but declined transport. The Tampa Police Department, Florida Division of Emergency Management, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Florida Bureau of Fire, Arson, and Explosives Investigations were on scene. That's going to do it for this week's episode, folks. Reminder to secure your accommodations for the Southernmost HazMat Conference before November 15th. They just need the form, found on the hazmatguys.com/conference, to lock in your conference rate without having to put down your card just yet. Tick-tock. We'll see you in the Keys. Until next time, Timmy, over and out.